Sorry, folks. David and I are on the naughty step.
It's getting hot round here. What's up with my bum?
Aye.
I can hear sizzling.
I'm afraid we were deep in discussion when we looked up and noticed the scope. Sometimes I think we should just put a green room on, David. That'd be more interesting, eh?
That would be, of course it would, yes.
Anyway, the Two Davies on the 17th to the 7th, 2025, and we're going to start off with the big story of today.
Yep.
And that is voter reform announced by the Westminster Labour government. Voter age to be reduced to 16 for UK general elections and to 16 for English local elections as well, bringing England in line with Scotland and Wales. But as we do politics from a Scottish perspective, I suppose we better have a look at how this is going to affect young people in Scotland.
Oh.
And of course, the wider audience might not know what the voting rights are here in Scotland.
Yeah.
So here in Scotland, David, as we know, 16 and 17-year-olds get to vote in local elections, the council elections, and in the national parliament elections, the Scottish general election. But the one franchise that was close to them was the Westminster election, because the voting age there remained at 18.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's been announced that it was part of the Labour manifesto, to be fair. And I don't like being fair to the swines, and we're not going to be very fair to them the rest of the programme. But to be fair, it was a manifesto commitment, and it means that our 16 and 17-year-olds now have access to all voting franchises. All. And that includes the Westminster general election. Now, we're being told that that will be up and running for the next Westminster election. It won't be up and running in time for the next round of UK council, English and Welsh council elections. It won't be up and running by then. But as we know, in Wales, 16 and 17-year-olds get to vote in the council elections anyway.
The strange thing about that is that, we have wedding hotels on our borders, right?
Right, aye.
And one of them has literally shut its doors without any explanation whatsoever. And remember, we were talking on previous day about they're going to change the marriage date in Scotland. Yes, I wonder if that's got anything to do with it. We're talking about a very profitable business. We're talking about the books were full of people getting married from England, from Scotland as well. And the beauty of it is that if you're in England, where the minimum age for getting married is 18, you can go to Scotland and get married at 16.
I don't think it was much that going on these days, but David, come on, it's more a tourist thing now. I think they probably looked at the economic situation and went, books might be filled a day, but they're not going to be filled tomorrow, sort of thing.
Well,
let's build on ahead.
At the end of the day, it's like I still hear the idiocy about people going out and spending £25,000 on a wedding, and I go, what on earth are you doing? What on earth are you doing? Get a few friends together, some family, and that's it. And it's like my own wedding took place in my back garden.
Well, Sarah and I's wedding took place in the registry office in Lanark, and then we all went back to my mum's back garden, and then to the local church hall for the night shift. To get drunk, which is a tradition here in Scotland. So no matter what you're celebrating in Scotland, you get drunk. So, well, we're at it. We'll just lift a wee glass to you all. Well, a big bloody glass to you all, actually.
There you go. How you doing?
So,
what's the Greek word? Yamas.
Well, the good news is, folks, that all voting franchises are now open to our little darlings. And for a change, England has come in line with the devolved administrations.
I think what you've got to do is it requires a wee more research to find out why they've come to that decision. Simple
Aye.
thing is, they're relying on an awful lot more of the young people to join the army, armed forces. We
You
get
think
them
so?
in, make them good citizens before they send them to the chopper, which will be the front line against Russia or whoever, you know.
Well, aye. The other thing that has been announced today is that voter ID for Westminster elections will become easier. Rather than do the honourable thing and scrap this fucking nonsense and open the franchise back up to everybody, Labour's answer:
Mm.
anybody with a bank card that's registered to vote will be able to use their bank card as ID. So we'll have an experiment, David. I'll take your bank card. You take my bank card. You go to my polling station and vote, and I'll go to your polling station and vote, shall we?
That's wonderful. It really is.
Just get rid of it. It was a stupid fucking idea anyway.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, the details are still unfolding. These announcements normally have catch 22s in them somewhere, you know. But I think this one's genuine because it doesn't cost fuck all, really.
Phrases like as thick as two short planks come to mind.
Well, you heard me, David, and you know I believe this. There should be no taxation without representation.
Correct.
You know. Okay, let's take Sir Keir Starmer's latest behaviour from a Scottish perspective, and that is
Yeah.
that Blue Labour's Scottish MP Brian Leishman criticises party policies after suspension. The Grangemouth and Alloy MP has been a constant critic of Starmer since he was elected as the MP for Grangemouth and
Yeah.
Alloy, David. Now,
He basically was, if you like, as a Labour MP in waiting, he was imbued with the idea of, oh, we're going to save with the Waspy woman, the Horizon Postmasters, the Grangemouth, which is a big one to use on, right? We'll get that up on its legs, and we're gonna get it going again properly, or it's we're gonna save it, right? And it's like, what's
I
happened?
think Class Action described it better today. Brian Leishman was a useful mug.
Yeah,
He took them at their word, campaigned honestly. The people believed
yeah,
him because he was believed to be an honest man.
yeah, yeah.
And then he gets elected and realises he's being duped. So he stands against other lies, and standing against other lies gets him suspended.
I know, and obviously the really daft thing is, after all this, when if it's temporary and he does get back into the main uh, Labour Party, Parliamentary Labour Party, he still wants to be a Labour MP. He
That's the
still wants to
interesting thing,
remain.
right? To tell him on the way out the door, don't worry, mate, don't worry, Brian. It's just temporary. You sit in the back benches and keep quiet. There's a good boy. Useful mug or useful tool again, because he'll be given the whip back when Starmer needs a lobby for them.
Yeah, that's right.
So when there's going to be a tight vote, Mr. Leishman will be given his whip back.
Yeah, but that'll be the proviso. You'll get it back as long as you vote with the Prime Minister.
Yep, of course it is. It's a useful tool. Now, the interesting thing about what Starmer did, and we're taking it from a Scottish perspective, was that Starmer is using the same strong arm attitude that Bojo had when he had a massive majority.
Mm.
Become an inconvenience to me and you're out.
Mm.
Now, 7 last year, 7 this time round, because 3 of most of government jobs know the whip. But the ones that did lose the whip, Bob Leishman, Grangemouth and Alloa, Rachel Maskell, York Central, Neil Duncan Jordan, MP for Poole, and Chris Hinscliffe, North East Herefordshire. They were all prominent members in getting that rebel group together that voted that were going to vote as a block a wee bit interesting further in. But this shows Starmer's authoritarian style, and that'll come up a wee bit more, a wee bit further in and all. But
Well, what we'll see from Starmer is when Trump turns up, you'll be, oh, yes, sir, Tug Forlock, wonderful, right? What do you want me to do next, sir?
well, you see, I'm not impressed with you and I are not impressed with Starmer, but that's beside the point. I think there's a backlash coming. I think he might well just assign his P45 a day without having it being dated, or yesterday without it being dated, because the potential rebellion, and if we take into consideration Corbyn came up the inside, we were on poll yesterday where the non-existent party that Corbyn would be leading was included in the numbers. They were 50-50 with Labour.
Well,
And if
the
you
poll that's been done today and put up has the Jeremy Corbyn party, JCP, at 32%. The nearest to him is Reform at 22%, right? So in actual fact, it's like, okay, we don't know, we don't have enough polls yet to see which one's an outlier. But to look at it,
well,
you look at these
as far as
things.
I'm concerned, there's only been two, and one of them was speculation because the party doesn't quite exist. Now you're telling me there's two polling companies speculating on this, and I've only seen the results of one.
But you look at this and you go, what's the reality here? What's the reality? The reality is that the Labour Party, there's a lot of people that the Labour Party sat in their hands and they're going, oh, I need to say something here, and they don't, right? Immediately you start providing them with an exit to another Labour Party, right? The Jeremy Corbyn Party. That means that a lot of them are going to move. We're talking like 50% support in Labour MPs for Jeremy
that's
Corbyn
the other
Party.
thing. With this behaviour towards the MPs, if Corbyn does constitute this parliament, this party, what he says he's going to, and he opens his arms for people to walk across the floor, Starmer could find himself a minority.
That's right.
So that'll explain why Starmer went on the attack and blaming Jeremy Corbyn for splitting the left.
Also, the interesting thing will be Reform. There's a lot of people were voting Reform because they can't stomach either the Tories or Labour Party after what they've done, right? Now, for some reason, people have got now, Reform's are nice. Oh, that nice Mr. Farage. I'd love to go and have a pint with him, though, is that right? Right? The people are going to vote Reform. I think if Jeremy Corbyn gets his up and running properly before the next general election, he could be on a winner. The next Prime Minister could be Jeremy Corbyn.
I can promise you this. If I ever find myself having a pint with Nigel Farage, the man will be a teetotaler the day after because he'll be shite scared of pubs for that day on.
No.
Yes.
Well, no, what you do is you say, hold on, Nigel.
There was no threat of violence there.
I'm going down to McDonald's to get Mr. Whippy or whatever it's called, right?
A milkshake.
And it's like, what?
A milkshake.
A milkshake. There you go. That's I'm just going to take a milkshake. Well, why is that? Why are you getting that? Oh, I just fancy something sweet for a change. All right. You can have your pint, and I'll go and get the milkshake.
Oh no, I definitely still don't have a pint them. By the time he left, his ears would be fucking burning. And if he said the wrong thing, there's every chance his ears would be burning and all. Right, I guess we better move on before I get myself into trouble.
Yes. Be nice. Be nice.
And by the way, most of the audience have met me. They know I'm only 5'6.5". Right, Scottish Affairs Committee have put out a report that settles a 50-year-old debate, apparently. This is the fourth report into this, and they've all come up with the same conclusion, David. Now, what was it the Scottish Affairs Committee was looking at? How Scotland is financed.
Yeah. The Barnett formula.
And they apparently have looked at the Barnett formula and alternatives and said the Barnett formula is working fine.
Can I stop you there? Right. The Barnett formula only gives you a set of rules with which Scotland, that actually pays the money, gets back a proportion of that money to run itself. Right.
Yes.
Let's make sure people are absolutely crystal clear on that.
Yes.
It is not money given by the UK state. It's not given. It's not theirs to gift Scotland. Scotland gives money down the road, and a proportion of that money is sent back to Scotland. And in actual fact, even though they have and it leads us nicely onto the article, even though they have rules to go after, Scotland still ends up short in what it should have. Now, please, David, carry on.
Right, now they went through the Barnett formula and they said it actually works no bad. There is problems with it, but it works no bad. They said the main bone of contention with the Barnett formula is that everybody knows how it works in politics, which means that the Scottish Parliament knows how it should be calculated, and prior to the Scottish Parliament, the Scotland office knows how it should be calculated. But every time there comes a settlement every year, you'll hear in the past you'll hear the Scotland office and now the devolved Parliament say these numbers don't add up. They're hitting us short on everything. Now, what the Scottish Affairs Committee has identified is that the Treasury don't show their workings, so they don't know whether they're using the Barnett formula correctly or not.
Yeah, so
that's it.
Yeah.
So they're doing the sums, telling the Scottish Parliament what the sums are. The Scottish Parliament, who knows what the formula is doing the sums and saying, I'm sorry, you made a mistake somewhere, go back. They said, no, we marked for in work the fuck off. That's what you're getting. But the Scottish Affairs Committee also agrees that the bone of contention here isn't the Barnett formula. It's the fact that the Treasury won't show their workings, so there's disputes over the sums.
Treasury is a loan to itself.
So
we saw that in
what the
2014.
committee's report is recommending is that the Treasury make their workings clear and they work strictly to the Barnett formula. Because the Scottish Affairs Committee, the Scottish Parliament, the Scotland office prior to the Scottish Parliament all said they weren't. They say what the Barnett formula has been published at and what we can all go and look up isn't the workings that the Treasury's been using.
And if you have a look at before that, what became the Barnett formula, David and I were discussing this previous, just give you the name, it was called the Goshen formula, Goshen formula. And that gave us about an extra 1.5–2% over what we're getting now, right? So what happened was we found oil and became poorer as a result.
Yes. Anyway, the Scottish Affairs Committee is made up of 6 Labour MPs, 2 Tory MPs, 2 Lib Dem MPs, and 1 SNP MP. And how it works, folks, is it's made up proportionate to the size of the parliamentary party that the Scottish representation is in. At this point in time, the SNP is the smallest of the parties, and even if they did have the majority of Scottish MPs, they would still only get 2 representations on that panel.
I still do not know how the Scottish people can do that to themselves. It's insane. Totally and utterly insane. The people of Scotland to vote in so many Labour that act as their blooming attack dogs for Conservative during the referendum. Fuck's sake.
Right. And apparently, new report today tells us Rachel for accounts isn't a fucking accountant. This one really annoys me, David, because this was obvious when this happened. I believe you and I were speaking about it. I don't know if it was on air or off air, but we spoke about this subject particularly. When Rachel Reeves changed the NI on employers to raise 25 billion, you and I said to each other, there goes inflation.
That's right.
Well, guess what? It was introduced in April and it's working its way through the system. And this month, there was shock horror. Inflation up by 0.2%.
Now, we will constantly talk about Brexit and inflation, right? Brexit took it so far, and then what's happened is the national insurance is going up again. It's added to the top of that, right? What a stupid thing to do. Now, okay, you might say it's stupid. In actual fact, I'm starting to look at this from the point of view of, was it done intentionally? Uh, is the power behind her cleverer than that? And it's been done intentionally so that the whole thing tumbles. Look at America right now. You've got to look at the you know the amount of money that is being hit on the American public and the American businesses. The whole thing's going to fold up on itself, and you've got the UK, which effectively is a microcosm of America at the moment. Trump equals Starmer, right? And it's like you go, wait a minute, is there more happening here than we are aware of? Or have I gone down another rabbit hole? I don't think in this one I have. I don't
Well,
think in
David,
this
I'm
one I
not
have.
going to go down there, I'm going to say the possibilities are out there.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
But we may as well explain to people what it is that Rachel Reeves did that was so fucking stupid, so obvious that David and I were talking about it a year ago.
Yeah, yeah.
She put the burden of an extra 25 billion a year on the employers. Now the employers are trying their best not to hit their employees, although that will lead to wage stagnation. That's the other thing that's coming down the line, David,
Yeah,
because of this behaviour. But the first thing that these employers were going to do, because they all provide services and goods, we were going to up the price here to offset the cost to themselves.
mm,
So
yeah,
what's driving inflation? Food prices.
yeah. That's right.
Because
And
when
what
you get
was,
right down
dri- was driving the problems that America's got?
it,
Effectively, food
inflation.
prices it's stupid.
But basically, what happened is when you take it down through the services and goods that are bought in the marketplace, the people who are selling that have got employees with logistic chains and things like that. There's a cost to them for what Rachel Reeves did, so that's put onto the cost of that logistics, which is of course of getting goods everywhere. That goes onto the cost of the goods, and the market slows down again, and
Yeah.
inflation goes up as prices rise to compensate for her stupidity. Ah, lovely. But David, you and I were talking about this earlier, and she boxed herself into a corner, didn't she? She had no
Oh
choice but
yeah,
to do
yeah.
it.
But the
The,
thing is, though, you've got to look at it and go, right, she might be a useful fool.
aye,
Like
aye,
the chap, the MP
aye, Brian
for
Lushman.
Grangemouth, right?
Aye, Brian Lushman.
So, and she might be a useful fool, and she's been told, oh, you'll do the following, do this, do that, do that. Just do what we say, and you'll be all right. And eventually they get to the point where she's saying things like that, and you go, hang on, you're a useful fool. Get out of there. And
All
she's
right,
going to have
David,
to
to be
get
fair,
out.
as you know, I've been looking into economics lately.
Yeah,
But as I say, you and I were talking about this a year ago, and said, the minute she does this, this is going to be inflationary pressure because
yeah.
the people who are having to pay the extra are going to pass that
No,
cost
no,
on.
but here's the important part. That means inflation is going to go, whoa, right? The Bank of England are going to do. They have to increase the interest rates,
What's
and
interesting,
they're
David, this
not.
is the first month that these figures have really fed through and hit inflation. But this is just feeding through the system as we go. How many months before it flatlines? How high will it go? Will it be 0.2% increase for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 months?
Yeah, it could be.
Because this is you and I were talking about this. This is how it feeds through. The change started in April, May, June, July, it started to feed through.
Told you, they're going to change a basket of goods to Smarties. And they're going to freeze the price of a box of Smarties, Jewish Smarties.
Can't it be done?
You watch.
Because the Smarties are going to be hauled to the show, and the fucking Holly has just put his price up. This is a bit Rachel the accounts didn't get.
No, what'll happen is the treasurer will be on to all these wee side corner shops saying, "Don't worry, we'll give you money back on your Smarties. So buy Smarties." There you go.
There you go, you've heard it from David. Never mind buying gold and silver and a dodgy economic situation like the wise people do. You buy Smarties. Fuck's sake. But of course, folks, let's talk about how she boxed herself into a corner, David, because people might not know. She said she wouldn't tax the rich, and she said she wouldn't increase personal taxation for the workers, which meant she could only hit certain sectors, and that meant that the captains of industry had to start tipping out their fucking pockets.
I can't
Captains
believe.
of industry don't do that.
I can't believe that anybody that's put in that position from where she was, she wasn't high up, right? She wasn't a high up situation. The chap from LinkedIn, he actually was her boss
Aye.
and our superior, and he's saying she was actually sacked because she was fiddling things, right? And so I can't believe that somebody in that position is actually able to go, right, we're going to do this and it's going to fix everything. She was told what to do.
Aye.
She's been told by other powers what to do, and those other powers have come through to her as being very, very plausible. No, not do this, and you'll be all right. We'll sail the ship, the UK ship, and you'll eventually come okay, right? And it's like she's
I would
going
like
to
that
end up.
idea if it wasn't for facts of people she's fucking hitting.
But
Because
see,
they're the people.
yeah,
They're the people that we'd expect would own all these politicians.
yeah. So, but also looking at the back of that, who's she benefiting? She's keeping the tax rise away from the rich, right? And let's face it, who owns all the newspapers and all these various setups where money is no object whatsoever? It's the newspapers, media services.
I just don't think she had the capability to think
No,
it through.
I don't think it's anything to do with stupidity. Okay, the person, the individual might not be on it, but whoever was feeding the individual, whoever is feeding Rachel Reeves
That's the
the
bit where you get to
information,
say, that's a rabbit hole.
don't care. I don't care. You look at it, and it's like it's
Unless
Columbo.
you can
Columbo on
tell
the
Sue
TV.
Dean, unless you
Hang
go
on,
straight
hang
to
on.
that.
That doesn't fit. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's like you start to fit it together. Rachel Reeves doesn't have the power, the ability, and all the rest of it to do what she's done.
Well, actually,
Right?
David, she's a Chancellor of the Exchequer. Yes, she does.
No,
And
she
she's
doesn't.
supposed to be the
It's a
brains behind the
political.
operation.
No, David. It's a political position. Certain people were better than others, right? I mean, Jeremy Hunt, I hate
Aki's,
the bastard, but it's all I know.
Aki's Rachel needs somebody to change the photocopier insert for the ink. You used to be an appliance engineer. Go and help Rachel out, please. David,
Oh dear.
we are trying to do the mainstream thing. And the mainstream thing is to look at the way the positions are supposed to be. Prime Minister, highest, most powerful position in the land. Chancellor's Exchequer, the brains behind the financing of the operation. That's how it's supposed to be. And that's where we're going
Oh,
to keep it. So at this point in time, from our perspective, Rachel didn't have the intellectual capacity to think it through. She'd backed herself into a corner by saying she wouldn't tax the working man, she wouldn't tax the rich. That only left businesses open to take the hit.
I
And I don't
don't
think she's.
I don't think that an individual like Rachel Reeves would be able to pull the entire British UK government into going this direction or that, right?
But we're
Seriously.
meant to believe that's how it works. Whether you believe it or no, we're meant to believe that's how it works.
It's where the UK public are supposed to believe it works.
Correct. We're meant to believe that's how it works. She directs the finances for the country and she directs the economic direction. That's what we're supposed to believe. Now, was there a black hole? No, there would have never been a black hole.
We know there's not been a black hole.
Right then. But they created this idea that there was no money left. And they had to find money, but they were only going to take it for here. They weren't going to take it for there. That
So,
so
you're going to tell me that Rachel Reeves she stroked her chin and rubbed her hands together and said, I'm going to push this thing about there being a 22 billion black hole.
No, I think what she did was she boxed herself in when it came to taxation. And the only thing left there that he changed was national insurance for employers. And she didn't think through what was going to happen there, how it was going to make wages stagnate, and how it was going to affect inflation. That's what I think.
So you don't think the civil service would have had anything to say on this whatsoever?
I'm sure there's a lot to say on it, but I don't think she listened.
No.
Because when you look at the arrogance, David, hold on, when you look at the arrogance of Starmer and Reeves and Liz Kendall and Yvette Cooper, it's very easy to believe that these people are that arrogant that we ignore the civil service.
It starts to make sense when you look at they're being directed by somebody. There's something in the background here.
Makes sense to you, but if we want to stay on air, we need to stay along the orthodox path because you generally find they shut down the people who go down the unorthodox plan.
We're part of the Orthodox Church, are we? Right? Okay. Fine.
We have no choice but to be because there seem to be silencing voices that are not orthodox.
Yeah.
So we are meant to believe. Now, remember, we're talking about the general public here. Are meant to believe that Rachel Reeves is the economic brains behind the Labour Party's economic strategy and behind driving the economy to growth. And as we know, since she came to power, the economy's tanked. So, but do I believe that they're actually the people doing these things? I can't say one way or another, but what I do know is that the arrogance of them all would make you believe that they've got the self-belief to think that they're doing these things.
Well, there you go.
And when we talk about arrogance, that brings us on to the next one. Liz Kendall, the cruel, horrible creature that she has, decided that the wee bit of respite for worry that the disabled had would be thrown under a bus yesterday at the Welfare and Pensions Committee. And what she told the people, because she's the Minister for the Department of Work and Pensions, she told them that at the end of the consultation that's underway with the disabled in 2026, she intends to go ahead with the full welfare reforms that were on the table. And she told the committee that if her cuts weren't driven through, then PIP wouldn't be there for people in the future.
Right. So yet again, going back to your previous conversation, thing about it, right? There we have someone playing a bit of a Mandarin, as far as that's nothing to do with oranges, right? Bit of a Mandarin regarding this, my way or the highway, right?
Well, that was very much her attitude, yes.
Yeah.
And that backs up my arrogant stance that these people are that arrogant that they actually think they know what they're doing.
See, that's the thing. I don't honestly think.
David, you have made that 100% clear. We're going to have to stick to the orthodoxy of the situation. Because unless you can present evidence to your audience to the contrary, and we can't, we can say where influence is coming from lobby groups, but we can't say that's what's happening here.
Basically,
But we
I
have to stick
think
to orthodoxy.
all these characters within Labour, it should be a watching brief. Keep an eye on them because at some time, even though the evidence is not available right now, it may become available
Oh,
in the
come on. We've
future.
always known Liz Kendall was a cunt. We've
Eh,
always known that Beck Cooper was an arrogant git. Rachel Reeves was a good tea lady. And Starmer was a shite lawyer. We knew that.
Rachel's already been on the phone to us that she wants to come and be a tea lady for us. So there you go.
That's why I just said she's got the credentials for the job. Get her hired. Because that's the right job for Rachel for accounts. All right.
Dear, dear.
So I don't want to give her too much of a hard time. You have to be fair to the Chancellor. She's got a great sense of humour. She comes here and takes it tight. But no, David, we need to move on to Liz Kendall. I mean, we've always known what a creature that is. Always.
Rachel says, stick with it. Blame it all on the deep cake.
Aye. She's a qualified tea lady. There's no doubt about it.
Lovely, lovely. No,
Even
seriously.
thinking the way of 11sies, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've always known that Liz Kendall was a vile creature.
Yeah.
We've always known that Yvette Cooper was an arrogant git. We've always known that Starmer had an authoritarian streak to him. So, are these people the people that are directing policy? I don't know.
I don't think we are. I don't think we are.
You're free
Anyway,
to
that's my opinion at the moment. And what I'll do is I will keep these people in a watching brief, knowing that sometime they'll slip. And the moment I'll be there. What I'm saying is they'll slip in terms of where are you getting your information, where are you getting your
where you
control
get directed from, aye.
Yeah, that's right.
But as I say, Duncan sees the Stenner for the food bank saying he's looking for a Davy doing the rabbit hole story. He's enjoying this one. There you go, David.
Duncan, there's plenty of rabbit holes. Plenty of blooming rabbit holes, right? Seriously.
That's it. And if they're right on £10 a time for the food banks, it's worth it.
Right. Here's a good one for you, right? You accused me of being down a rabbit hole, right? And I have literally criticised every time there's been a post up where Americans have been going, of course we went to the moon. Of course we went to the moon, right? And I've been one of the ones going, no, we didn't because of X, Y, Z, and others, right? And then now we've got a situation where they're being their conspiracy theories because they're saying we went to the moon, right? That's how the rabbit hole goes. Someday people are down a rabbit hole, suddenly come out and go, oh, so we're right. So there you go.
And more often what we think, actually, but Rachel says you need a good sense of humour when you have a pudding bow haircut at the Two Davies. Rachel, I'm not going to get into your feelings. I'll leave that for the populist prats. Oh yeah, I prefer people in the substance of them rather than the populism.
Yes, don't play the man, play the ball.
So let's get back to what Liz Kendall was doing yesterday. And what she was doing was striking the fear of God back into people.
Yeah, that's not good. That's just creating fear for fear's sake.
Now, why is she doing it, David? Do you want a Davy rabbit hole?
Right, go on then.
Eugenics.
Possibly. Yes.
They've just passed the dying bill. You make these people life that fucking hard. They just throw into the hospital and into
the
eugenics.
Yeah.
But that was cruel yesterday. Telling that committee that once this consultation was done with the disabled people, no matter what the outcome was, she's driving ahead with these reforms.
Yeah. Which is pretty bad. It's pretty shocking.
She just put the fear of God into them for another 12 fucking months. How cruel can you get?
Yeah. I don't know if have you ever had any letters from the government? What they did, no, what I mean is, they will tend to send a letter so it lands on your mat on the Friday,
Aye,
and you can't get a hold of them to discuss it. So
till
you
the Monday.
the entire weekend before you can get on the phone, right?
Aye.
And that's a trick. That's an old
That's
trick.
a
That's
psychological
creating
control
fear.
trick, David. Yes, it's a
Yes, that's right.
psychological control trick. It's
Yeah.
absolutely true. And
Um,
you're absolutely right. That's how they do
yeah.
it.
Yeah. And what I did eventually, I went, fuck it, don't worry about it. The worst that they can do is put me in jail. End of story, right? So what I did was every time I got a letter from the government, I went, oh, it's not by recorded delivery, so it goes in the bin. There you go.
Hansbury's not always been that fucking mental. It used to be worse. You can't do no what in the old days. You can believe me, yes. I've seen this man
my
climb statues, believe it or
my
not.
my nickname on Netflix is the Mad Natter, so be careful. All right.
Man, it's quite close, eh? But hey, believe me, Hansbury, it used to be a lot worse. I've had to pull this man down our fucking statues.
I told him
Right, guys,
everything he knew.
yesterday, the
I
fucking
told him
boss.
everything he knew. Everything. Absolutely everything.
All right,
Right, come on to the next
right,
one. Come
now we
on.
better talk about Starmer's authoritarianism, what he hoped to achieve by suspending these people. According to all the papers today, he's asserting his control of the party. Now, we touched on this a wee bit, but it would appear that Starmer doesn't realise that he's got real competition from within his party and from without his out with his party now. Here's the thing. See when you talk about outside influence, David. If you look what's happened to the Tory party and the Labour Party, do you think the state's bringing together new parties to replace them?
Possibly. If you look at Nigel Farage, he's been on BBC TV for literally years now, and that was a time when he didn't have any real mandate to be on there, right? And it's like we've watched the birth of UKIP, and then the Brexit Party, and then
Oh,
obviously reform, right? And you think to yourself, why would a media company like BBC be doing that?
well, I'm saying the political landscape is changing. It's changing quickly.
But it's changing because people are taking notice of what's on their TV.
I will. Now, do you think that this new party will be up and running long enough to affect next year's, quick enough to affect next year's Scottish election?
If you're talking about JCP, the Jeremy Corbyn party,
That's not what it'll be called.
well, I don't know if it'll be called that. Finally, they'll probably have a meeting and go, well, we can't call it JCP. But at the moment, we've got to call it JCP because that's all it is, right? By next year,
I
I
like
don't know.
GCP, Jeremy Corbyn proposal. There you go.
Yeah,
I could wear that one.
yeah, I maybe not by next year, but certainly a year after,
Well, he says
definitely.
he's going to be up and running for the council elections in England next year. And
I
they're on the
don't,
same date as our general election.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, before Jeremy Corbyn fronts up any party that's going to take power in Westminster,
But now you get back
what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to explain what happened and why he's not anti-Semitic. Because the people in England have got this word anti-Semitism, and they were told quite straightforward that he's anti-Semitic, so we're
I
getting the
think
book.
the conditions in Gaza have been made clear, the things they've been highlighting for all these years. I think that's
A proportion, but there's still a huge proportion that still believe that Jeremy Corbyn is anti-Semitic.
a huge
They
proportion
don't
of
know
people,
why. They don't
a
know
huge
why. They
proportion
don't
of
know
people.
why. They
David,
don't know why. But at the
hold
end of the
on,
day,
hold on.
yeah.
We're supposed to be talking about Starmer. Corbyn's only an in. an input here that he's not taking into consideration. But let's get to Corbyn and the anti-Semite thing.
Yeah.
You know what? All of a sudden, the UK is a nation full of anti-Semites by their definition of it.
Aye, yes, agreed, absolutely.
Well,
But at the
let's
same
get back to
time,
Starmer and his
at the
authoritarian
same
speech.
time, you're misidentifying people within UK.
I'm not
People within the
misidentifying
UK.
anything. You're the person that said there's a huge amount of this and a huge amount of that. Davies not seen any stats.
No. What I'm saying is, you'll still find that a large amount of people in England don't understand fully what happened to Starmer. They've got no idea.
Mate,
All they know is that
aye,
they ended up with
David, that's about arrogant.
Starmer and the
For you to
Labour
believe
Party and
that.
others. That, yeah,
That's a bit conceitful to believe that.
come on.
Because you don't know what people know sitting in their front rooms.
Right, okay. All right.
You get my point?
I do get the point. I do give
I
into
know
that.
you tend to have a lot of feelings about things.
But
And I tend to say to you, where's the stats?
it's in my letter. I'm telling you. It's in my
I
letter.
mean, come on, that's generally how it works. You wait a statement and I'll say, where's the stats?
Where do you think I get some of the stuff that I get and I'm right at the end of the day?
Well, you still vote
How
for it.
many times have you actually had to say on the Indie Truck Day the thing, David said such and such, right? As if to say David actually got that one right again, right?
Aye.
So for me, it's not a case of having stats and blowing hitting you with books of this and books of that. It's like it is a feeling, but
I
it is
know.
a feeling in the
I
back of this
totally
mind that
understand
is
that.
actually turning. The wheels are turning, and
Aye,
eventually it go, oh yeah, that's such and such. So
I
right.
know. But unlike you, as you know, I've always got the fucking stats.
And then I'm
Because
looking for the next rabbit hole. I'm going, well, what's the next one? Oh, there's one there.
I also know that's not true. Because you read a lot more than what you make out, you can. As well as write a lot more than what you make out. And folks, his writings, they make sense. And it's not because it's a feeling alone. He does do some research to go where. I can assure you.
Oh, that's it. The fucking genie's out the bottle now. Shut up. Right, get on my next point.
Yeah, David, you know very well, that's you and me. You'll bring up a subject and I'll go, where's the stats? And then
Yeah,
we'll go
I
find
know.
the bloody stats.
Yes, I know.
If they exist.
If they exist, sometimes they don't.
No, they don't, David.
Sometimes,
You're absolutely correct.
sometimes they're being obfuscated for a particular reason.
David, you know yourself, how many times have we come on here and said to people, we went looking for the stats and couldn't find them.
That's right.
You know. So, as I say, what happens is David will bring something up and he'll say something, I'll say, where's the stats? And then we'll go look for them. All right. Right,
Anyway,
okay,
right.
let's move on. We're on the Afghan debacle.
Oh, fuck's sake. Right, here we go.
So let's get the timeline right. 2022, data leak.
Yeah.
Since 2022, super injunction, top secret, people smuggling operation going on in the UK. Thanks, Alistair, you're an absolute star. Haven't seen Lauren Kirkton for a while. I hope she's alright because she's a bloody superstar.
Thanks, Alistair. Again, thank you, Alistair.
Thank you, Alistair. You're a star. You're all stars, actually. Now, so in timeline 2022, data breach, super injunction, massive people smuggling operation going on, bringing them into the UK. All done behind the public's back, all done with MP scrutiny, but that we just throw it the fucking Monday anyway, because let's face it, the military don't answer to the MPs.
And we do have stats for this. We do have stats for this.
We
So,
do have stats for this.
yeah.
And the numbers, the cost so far in getting these people out have been 850 million. The 7 billion, so you know.
No, that's 815 million to actually uplift them, get them across, and all the rest of it. Right. Then over and above that, you've got all sorts of different costs to
Yes.
keep them and all the rest of it, right?
Yep.
So there you go.
House them, feed them, give them an income.
Yeah.
Give them money to fight the Home Office to bring their families. Because they didn't get to come, David.
So what's going to happen to the families if the Labour Party do what they said they're going to do?
Well, 1,500 of them will all be killed by the Taliban.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
That is ridiculous. But, as I say, so the timeline. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, you dear boy. That's awfully good of you because the way you operate Independence Live, you're not making a lot of money, mate. So thanks.
Kevin,
Nice
so
about
good, so good they name you twice.
hey, it's always nice to have a celebrity get in watching the show, like you know what?
Yeah, yes, it does. Yeah.
You know, a real celebrity. And anyway, where were we? Right, so we're now at a point where the super injunction has been lifted and the public now find out about this. And
Yeah.
now we have outrage gone always. And we've got the cabinet thinking about scrapping the scheme to rescue the 81,500 that have been left behind.
Yeah.
Which are mainly these people that they go to, it's families.
Yeah.
But they're all on this hit list.
Yeah.
Questions we've got to be asking, folks, and that's of our elected representatives. So get your pen and paper out. We need to ask how many of that 100,000 people have already been killed.
Yeah, that's right. Well, one of the stats that I read was you keep on bringing up 100,000, but I read that one of the stats was 140,000.
It looks like they don't even have proper record keeping on how many people.
Well, you don't. At the time that happened, it was all up in the air, wasn't it?
Why?
You know.
But you think at one point in Afghanistan alone, they would have had records of the dependency of the people they employed.
Yeah.
Now remember, folks, some of these people weren't just employees helping the UK and the American state in their endeavours in Afghanistan. Some of them were combatants.
Yeah, that's right.
There were a good few thousand of them that are trained military.
Yeah.
And they were probably the upper echelon of the last Iranian government's military. Who
I mean,
with
Afghan government's military.
Afghan governments. Do beg your pardon. Thanks for catching that, David.
And the Afghan government, the president, I forget his name, but he was a consultant for the Americans in terms of their oil production.
Aye.
For Afghan, their oil pipeline. And they were asking the Mujahideen to look after that pipeline for them. The Mujahideen refused and then let battle commence. They had to put American boots on the ground. The Americans don't like putting boots on the ground because it hits them politically when they get all these body bags back, right?
Yep.
So what they did was they contacted the UK and said, "Can we have a few your idiots soldiers across here, right?" And it's like that was it. So and we shouldn't have been there. We should not have been there.
Well, they didn't learn first, is it? Every time we went up with Khyber Pass, we got an arse slapped.
Can you imagine the amount of Stinger missiles the Afghanistan, the old Mujahideen have still got? Huh? Can you imagine that?
Believe me, the Ukrainians, the Poles and Ukrainians are no Semitic. They don't come to the region where they now reside. Believe me.
What's this?
The Ice Ninjas having a laugh in the chat. You know, we're talking about the Israeli population. They're mainly Eastern European. And in one of the last programs, one of the programs the other day where we spoke about the 13 prime ministers, how 9 of them have been Ukrainian.
Yes.
You know.
That's right. Yeah.
I think the other 4 were Polish.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's interesting. But unfortunately, David, we still had Trump to cover, and we still had it all falling apart from Netanyahu to cover. But I'm sorry, we're running out of time.
Well, Trump's a cunt and he's a fanny, but that's that covered, right? Okay, so but we all know that anyway, right?
Aye, and of course Netanyahu, his coalition's crumbling at the moment.
At 61 of 120 seats,
Yep.
it's well nigh possible, very, very possible that somebody could look at it and go, I don't fancy getting pulled up with a Hague.
Aye.
So therefore, I'm going to. So a couple of people will just walk, and that'll be it. It'll be over for Netanyahu politically. However, the important thing is who is coming in at the back.
Aye. Quick one on this one, folks. What's happened is there's been a fallout of the Orthodox Jews when it comes to securing quotas on providing men for the army.
Yeah.
And that means that one of the other parties within Netanyahu's coalition has got up and walked away because they are the Orthodox wing of that party.
Yeah, so something Torah party was. Oh,
it is the United Torah Judaism Party.
Judaism party, right?
That's it. We do write this stuff down, folks. But thank you very much, Mr. McGoran.
Thanks very much, John. Great.
Dave
That's
Dugan
wonderful.
for First Minister. He didn't get elected to the Parliament first, John. Come on. He's an MP.
He's an MP at the moment, yes.
But I know you know that, John. So, but I do. I would definitely take him.
Bloody hell,
Lauren. I'm going to put you on my knee and give you a spanking like I've recently been to the back.
Dude, stop doing that. Stop saying things like that. You're going to get pulled out of one of the express, or the mirror's going to be watching you doing that, and you're going to be in trouble, right? So take it back. Take it back now.
Well, Lauren, we were worried we hadn't seen you.
That's
and going to stop
right.
the super chats and you do enough directly.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Lauren, thank you, darling. God, that's right.
I know that's why I'm telling you no to put it through a super chat, Lauren, because you pop enough into the bank. Thank you. Dear.
So between John and Lauren, we got 50. Oh, wait, 70 quid there. Bloody hell! Right.
Listen, that's going to feed a lot of people, David. A lot of people. And David,
just because I like blooming rabbit holes as well, that's wonderful.
Aye, as you know, I know time. We'll wind this one up. As you know, David, you and I can see the regular contributors to the bank account. Yeah, there are people out there who actually contribute to the accounts direct.
Yeah.
And if you're doing that, folks, please don't do the super chat thing.
Yeah.
All right. You've already contributed enough.
Yeah, you don't have to prove anything because we know who you are. And the most important thing is you know who you are.
Right.
Right. So.
Well, I love the super chats coming in because it brings the attention of it to us.
Yeah.
But Lauren, I'm really sorry to hear about your illness. I am. And before we go, we'll put the last two super chats up because I forgot to.
Yeah.
Because we got a bit excited there.
Yeah.
So Mr. McGoran, who's a regular contributor as well, and Lauren, who's a brilliant mega contributor. Thank you, Lauren.
Yeah.
And we'll
don't forget the one from Alistair.
Hope you're feeling better. If I find out what your address is, I'm sending you flowers. So the hunt is on to find Lauren. Right, David, that's 5 o'clock bang on.
Yes.
Folks, we managed to cover most of what was important today, I think. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to put my Columbo head on it and just go, I think. It's only when everything slots together you think I'm on here.
But folks, please contact your elected representative for Westminster and ask them, out of that 100,000 kill list, how many have the Taliban hit?
Yes.
And remember as well, folks, I tell you this morning, the Taliban made an announcement yesterday that these people are all considered traitors and they're coming for them no matter where they are on the planet.
That's right.
And there's
So that means
18,500 that was stored about
that
these
means
islands.
yep, that means that the certainly anywhere these people have been, like put in hotels or whatever, right? They could become areas where
They become target
the,
areas, David, yes.
they can target areas. Yeah, are they going to go after them with knives, guns, or explosives?
Aye. Well, if they're going to take a whole building, you take the easy route.
That's right.
You're calling Davy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, you guys have a nice afternoon. Have a nice evening. I'm back tomorrow morning at 10:30. Thanks, Peter.
Can I just say one thing? As always, remember, thank you, Peter. Thank you very much.
Orange Yorkie's passed away.
Uh,
Sorry, Lauren.
the oh dear. Most
Shingles in.
important thing is it's time for independence, independence, independence. Get up.
And as we know, there's an election coming up, so eyes on the prize. We'll see you tomorrow morning. David will see you on Monday. Bye then.